Alright, so thanks to some very kind tips from Angela here on how best to go about setting some of the patterning up for the fur fabric. So even though I haven't actually started on this big old bundle I've got here, these are actually an old pair of jeans, and I've cunningly used the two-tone nature of most jeans that have this lighter side. So the reason being is that the jeans are slightly stretchy, a little bit like the fur fabric, but a heck of a lot easier to work with because you can actually see the sort of pleats and the darts and what you're doing, and then hopefully that pattern, that net, should transfer nicely to whatever it is that we actually place onto the fur fabric. But I thought I'd just share like a few interesting little considerations. And this is, again, it's like, if no one's missed the message, I'm sure, on this channel, but prototyping being invaluable, that you of course realize there's some things that you just forget. And it's only when you're working with the material you realize that consideration is good. So even though I've made this like rounded sort of behind to the model, which sort of sweeps under really quite nicely, it sort of means that it's probably best to sort of slide it on over the top and then stretch it down over the nose. And so the fortunate thing is I realise I've got this sort of malleable front end, which hopefully I'm hoping to drag something over that would then snap into place and essentially sort of choke hold round the nose. And that would be a really nice mechanism to do. And actually the fur fabric itself, the base material, is quite elasticy anyway. So at the minute I've just got this flap, but I'm hoping to sort of put almost like a little yoke to sort of bring it round, and also it'll just give it that little bit of character and tension at the front that will make it feel more animal-like. The other thing I realised is these little flappy feet. This of course looks great in in jeans material, but of course all the fur is going to get snarled up in all the axles and the wheels and all sorts of stuff. So I think that I almost certainly need to create some form of I guess what you'd say is sort of like a mud guard, which maybe even mounts this on independently, and it might be that I don't actually stitch these on. The sort of piece that rocks over here might well actually just sit on top of the feet, which are basically like furry mud guards. And that means I can keep the interior of the mud guard actually maybe in plastic, so that I can wash off mud, which I've noticed, again, just having played with this with my son, it does get caked in mud. So the only other thing I realised is that I did this nice little detail you can see here of using some foam. This is basically sort of floor tile type foam, stuff that's used in cosplay and things like that. EVA I think it's called. And what I realised is that I've got a bit of a weird transition, is that although this makes sense as it is now with the white coming all the way down to the nose, I kind of forgot about that. And you can see at the back it just continues, and then what it means is you've got this weird transition on top where it doesn't quite make sense, basically. So I think what I'm going to do is continue the sweep of the white all the way around, but probably make all of the back end actually in black, as I think that'll transition better. And then of course there's just little things which I bought a book on how to make teddy bears, to figure out how exactly do you sew stuff shut when you've put maybe an armature inside it, but the hole is basically, you know, bigger than you can appreciate. I can't just slide it on something as big as this just through a hole this small. So you have to basically build in other openings and then sew them with a sort of blind stitch. It's probably got a technical name to it. But anyway, I thought this is pretty cool. It's definitely my first adventure making something that isn't just like a shirt or a conventional piece of tailoring or whatever. So this is pretty exciting for me to have a go at doing something like this. And certainly you can appreciate fur fabric is far from any sort of Savile Row tailor's material, so it's going to have its own quirks and things that are a bit unusual here. So yeah, really enjoying the experiment, and we'll see where it takes us. See you later.